Hey guys, what's going on and welcome back to a brand new video. As you can see, this one is a little different, no fancy intro or anything like that, because I actually wanted to bring to you guys a COD commentary. I know these were really popular back in the day when I was watching YouTube, and I've had a couple of things that I've wanted to talk about in videos, but I didn't know how to go about doing it, so I figured let's bring something back from the good old days and see what we can do. So, main few topics that I wanted to talk about were: one, what's coming next for Warzone, obviously; two, what's coming next for Call of Duty; and then finally, what's coming next for FPS. So by what I mean by that is, for the longest time now, first-person shooters have been dominating the market. They've consistently been top-selling games, and they're consistently the most watched games. And I don't necessarily mean Call of Duty as a whole, but if you look at things like Overwatch, now we have Valorant coming out, CSGO is still very popular. FPS has been at the top of the game for a really long time, and I'm starting to wonder when that's going to change, because I don't see FPS shooters being the main thing for gaming. But anyway, let's start from the beginning, and I want to talk about what's next for Warzone. So I don't mean, like what's next for Season 4. I mean, what could they add to the game that would not only increase the longevity, but keep people entertained? Because finally people are getting, it seems, not tired of Fortnite, but more people are starting to lean off that game after so long. And unfortunately, Warzone is just Call of Duty in a battle royale. And don't get me wrong, I love playing the game, it's super fun, but can you pull out a 2-year takeover the way that Fortnite did? For 2 years, Fortnite was at the top of its game from the moment it came out to up until pretty recently, and even still, it's still probably the most popular game out there. So what I'm asking is, what could they add to the game that gives it some substance? And I've been thinking about this for a while, and that's exactly why I wanted to make the video. And it's kind of hard to tell, because if you can add guns all you want. Guns aren't going to keep people from coming to join the game, or from leaving the game, I should say, sorry. And you really can't shake up the formula too much of what they've done. They've made it pretty simple. There's an armor system. You get your guns. The guns are already kitted out. You have your loadouts, which are specifically tailored to you, and you make it to the end. That's just what the Battle Royale is. Now, can they take that game, Warzone, and stretch it out for what they want? And I truly don't know the answer to that, because I see what they're trying to do. They're wanting to make Warzone and Modern Warfare two separate entities, because I do believe that once the Modern Warfare cycle is over, Warzone's going to continue on. How long, I don't know. How will it interact with the future Call of Duties? I don't know. But I think what needs to be done, if they really do want Warzone to make its mark in Battle Royale history, is they need to connect these games. So I know that there's a different publisher each year for Call of Duty. It's Activision, Infinity Ward, and Treyarch, I believe. I believe those are the main three. If I'm missing one, I'm sorry. But I think what needs to happen is, if Warzone is going to be this long-lasting title that it seems like they want it to be, they need to be integrating these games together. We can't just continue this trend of, okay, a Call of Duty comes out, it has a year-long cycle, next year completely new story. The previous Call of Duties are always scrapped. Whether the developers continue to add things to these games or not, people are still going over to the next game. So if you want people to be attached to Warzone the way that you want them to be, you need to start connecting these games, because unfortunately Warzone is still a Call of Duty game, which means the typical 1-year life cycle that everybody is already accustomed to has been set in stone. So you're trying to change that up. I think the only way that it can be changed up is if these games are connected in some way. And I don't mean like integrating full story elements from the future Call of Duties into these games. I mean bringing characters from the new games, putting them into this game. Easter eggs from the new games, putting them into this game, where people who get the new Call of Duty and are still like, you know what, I feel like playing a battle royale, let me go over to Warzone. They don't feel like they're playing an old game. Like, by the time the new Call of Duty comes out, I'd imagine they'd be on season 8 maybe. I'm just throwing out a guess here because we're about to start season 4, so maybe I'm pushing it, maybe like 6, 7. But anyway, let's say we get to season 6 or 7, the new Call of Duty's out, and then they do the reveal trailer for season 6, and you see the main character from the next Call of Duty whatever it is, Black Ops, God knows, 25. But let's say they do that. That would honestly be enough, maybe not for everybody, but for the people who are still attached to Warzone to be like, okay, cool, I'm still gonna play this. It's feeling refreshed. Because what happens is, if a new Call of Duty title comes out, and then that's a separate entity from Warzone, and then they're doing updates to Warzone, but they're just rehashing old things, not bringing any new elements, that's not what people want. And although people do like the old maps, and they brought Captain Price back, oh my god, like, or Alex is back, like, as much as a nostalgia factor can get you to sell copies, that's not going to keep people. You can't just keep bringing back old things and expecting that's what's going to keep the fan base. And maybe they know that. Maybe I'm talking and they've already had the plan to implement Warzone into all these future Call of Duties, and Warzone's going to be their big title that they're going to dedicate a lot of time towards. Because I believe, let me get this straight, because I'm looking at the Battle.net launcher, and I saw the publisher is obviously Activision, but it also showed Infinity Ward, Raven, and Infinity Ward works on their own Call of Duty title. So for them to be working together on Modern Warfare and Warzone, maybe that's what they're doing. And I really hope that's what it is, because I'm fearful that when this next Call of Duty comes out, Warzone is either going to be left in the dust, and I really don't want it to be, because like I said, it is fun, but it's fun because it's new. It's been out for a couple months now. I feel like more people are joining the game every day. I mean, I think the big switch was when Nick Merckx left Fortnite and started playing Call of Duty. That brought a lot of people over to the game, because Warzone's free, so everybody loves free. But I think that was the big step into getting more people towards the game, even though Infinity Ward couldn't really do anything about Nick Merckx playing the game. It just happened. But getting the fan base over that they need to make this game last. And what I mean by that is, obviously they need to be making money off of this game. So, and the game's free, so they make money off the battle pass and the shop items. You can't make money if you have nobody playing your game. And now that more people are playing this game, I mean, more people were already playing this game. It's not like Call of Duty is some third-party developed game. But yeah, sorry, but it's not like Call of Duty is some third-party developed game. You know, it's a main IP, so people were already playing the game. But like I said, when these new cycles come out, people just move on to the next one, because it's just what we've done for the last God knows how many years. So that's what I think needs to happen for the future of Warzone. Now, for the future of Call of Duty as a whole, this one is a little different. This is more just theories than anything concrete. But I'm personally interested in what's next for Call of Duty. And what I mean by that is, what's next for FPS as a whole, if I want to go a little broader. Because it's been the same elements for the last few years. And I'm still having fun, and they're obviously still making a lot of money from it. But when it comes to esports, what can come next, you know? Like, is this just the way it's going to be forever? Like how we have football and baseball and basketball. Like, there's these formulas. They've played the same way for decades and hundreds. With football, like a couple hundred years, right? They've been playing football forever. And people still come and watch. They know exactly what's going to happen. One team's going to get the ball. They're going to try to score. The other team gets the ball. They try. Like, we all know what's going to happen, but we still tune in. So is that what these FPS games are going to be? Like, is it going to be 15 years down the road, we're still watching CSGO tournaments and Call of Duty eSport tournaments and now Valorant? That's my question for you guys. what do you think is next, not only for FPS games, shooters, but also for esports? What do you think the next big esport game is going to be? If you guys have even thought about that. And if you haven't, think about it now and leave it down in the comments. And I will be going through all of these comments tonight because I really do want perspectives to the questions that I'm putting out, and not even questions, but the things that I'm saying. I just want to see what you guys feel and if you guys have thought about this before. So that was essentially what I wanted to go over. It's not the longest video, I know, but it's just interesting to me that we've built, or not we, but the developers of Call of Duty have built this formula where every year a new Call of Duty comes out and the next one is just there. People can go back and play it. The servers never go down, and people are still playing Black Ops 2 to this day. People are still playing Modern Warfare to this day, the original one, not even the remastered. And not even this one. I'm talking about like Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. People still play that game. Even though it's filled with hackers, people still play it. So now they put Warzone out, and they clearly split it up. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Warzone. They're two separate things. How are they going to move forward? Because this is something new. Us and the developers are used to this formula that they've built, and now that they're shaking it up, I want to know how much shaking up they actually are going to do. Because you could split it up all you want and make Warzone its own thing and update it every so often and keep adding stuff. But like I said, gun changes and new guns aren't going to keep people from coming back. You know what's going to keep people coming? A new map, new story elements, new characters. I think that's why Fortnite, one big reason that it was so popular was at the end of every season, something happened. Not every season is connected. I mean, I feel more than lately, they've definitely been connecting them in the beginning. Like a meteor came, then somebody tried to blow up Tilted Towers. Like every season, there was something that people were looking forward to. And the first time they did that, I believe the meteor was the first big thing, the first big event. Once that happened, the first thing that anybody talked about the next season was, what the hell is the event going to be? And it kept people coming back. Yes, they updated it pretty frequently, added new guns, changed things, new skins, all that stuff. Like they were constantly hammering things at people. And it was definitely enough to keep people coming because there was always something new. Call of Duty is not Fortnite. And what I mean by that is Fortnite pumps out updates all the time. Call of Duty is not known to pump out updates all the time. So when they go ahead and say, hey, we're putting out this game and we want it to, they haven't said it publicly, but it seems that they want Warzone to last as long as they can. It really makes you beg the question, how do they plan to do that? Because it's not something they've done before. I think the most a game was updated, and this is just me coming off the top of my head, I haven't looked this up, but I remember in Black Ops 2, it was maybe like a year or two after the game, or after the game had already ended, and they added like weaponized 115 or 151, like those like super sick camos that came out of nowhere. Like things like that are cool because not only was it like, oh cool, something to do, but they still cared about this game, you know? So it's not that I feel the developers of Call of Duty just leave their titles behind, because they obviously don't, but they don't add the same amount of content that they do when the game is initially out. And I understand because they're working on developing the new game, but like I said, this isn't some third-party developer. This is a major IP. I'm pretty sure they either have the resources and can get the resources for a dedicated developer team, and I believe that's what they did here with Warzone, so we'll see in the future. But yeah, I think that's where I'm going to end the video. I appreciate you guys for coming out. Appreciate you guys for listening. Go ahead and leave your opinions down in the comment below. Like I said, main questions are, what do you think is next for Warzone? What do you think is next for Call of Duty? And then what do you think is next for FPS/esports in that regard? So you guys go ahead and have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.